Live! Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me wherever you are in the world. We are live. Shut up. There we go. I always forget to turn off the music. Of course, what a week. What a week. What about the past 2 weeks? I think it's been about past 2 weeks have been absolute chaos behind the scenes, on the pitch, everything. And you couldn't have scripted this this past week for Rovers, but here we are. We've come out of the wash. And since the last time you've seen me, we've just added further chaos. No more Jon Dahl Tomasson. We've said goodbye to the sexy Dane, who's gone off to Sweden to become their head coach. And we have got another John. Actually, we've got a John. John Eustace has been confirmed as our new head coach, taking over the reins at Ewood Park. He'll be in the neighbourhood today, not making the decisions too much, kind of getting a feel for what he's signed himself up for here, as the likes of matey boy, who was it, David Johnson, David Lowe. They'll be given the command for today's match to see if they can grind out a result against a very out of form, out of whack Stoke City, a team that seems to cause us problems whenever we play with them, besides the reverse fixture this campaign last time around. So hopefully you can hear me. Let me know in the comments that you can hear me, because I just got a bit of a weird feedback in my ears there. Not too sure what that was. Yeah, we're going to get the team news in shortly. We'll hopefully hear from some Rovers mafiosos around the UK and around the world. That's right. Whenever they jump on here to have a little chit chat. So I'm going to do a, where's my phone? My phone's over there. I can't really see. So we are waiting. Within the next 20, 30 seconds, we should have live team news. And of course, we'll get some reaction to that whenever we get the mafiosos on board. So while we are waiting, is this bad boy even plugged in? I don't think that's even plugged in. Let's switch headsets to this guy and gear up for, of course, a review of the team news. Get them in my ears. That should do it. Yep. I think that's good. So we'll wait for the team news. We'll bring it up on the screen right about now. We'll refresh that son of a bitch. I'm not expecting too much change, but the likes of Fleck might get some minutes today. McFadden as well. So we are top of the hour. Let's give it a good old refresh and let's see that team news. Here it is in all its glory. A pairs between the sticks. Britain. We have and McFadden does start. Christine as well. Maybe a back four. Hedges. Hedges is back. Tronstad. Raki Costello, Smodic start. So a lot of concern for people. Dolan and Gallia already instantly. It looks like a much senior-looking squad with the likes of Ayari on the bench, Fleck on the bench, Moran, Sigurdsson, Telalovic, Garrett O'Riordan, and Wowstadt. So some surprising names. Hyam, of course, captains aside with McFadden alongside him. You might have a little bit of an eyebrow raise for the pace of McFadden. It does look like a back. I'd say a 4 at the back. Britain is back as well. Joe Raki is still in midfield. I wonder how much influence, if any, Eustace has had on this squad. So that's the team news at the moment. We'll get, of course, some reaction from some Overseas Mafiosos shortly, and we'll take a look at the Stoke team news whenever I get it here. Of course, we'll do a bit of a refresh on that. That should pop up momentarily as well. Maybe we'll hop on over to the Stoke website, get confirmation of that team news as well for Stokies. So here is the team news for them. They got Iverson between the sticks. They got Gooch, Berger, Vignal, of course, striker, Johnson, DJ next to play against. Niall Ennis is in the squad, guys, in the team to take on Rovers here. So he's got that, he's got that little bit of something on the back of his head to showcase who we are. Ben Wilmot, of course, Juno, McNally, Tushmandu, of course, a player that we will link with on the right-hand side of defence. Manuf as well. Up on the bench, they got the likes of Bonham, Pearson, Baker, Campbell as a handful, Thompson, Hoover, Wesley, Hadbanovic, and Kundal, another player that I think we will link with as well. So Mad Dog's PC is in the house. Can you confirm that you can hear me? Just making sure that you can hear me, and I've not been talking for the past 5 minutes on my Jackie Jones. So those are the teams, of course. Any major concerns? Well, of course, it is just a major concern in general, Rovers. But we'll get some feedback from Jacob, who's warming up right now. He's loosening up the old vocal cords there to give us his what for. But so that's the team news. Of course, it has been a bit of a madcap week at Rovers with the fiasco of the transfer window, which of course is just like another episode of Blackburn Rovers daily. Every day something chaotic, of course, and there's been some concern. A lot of concern from the fan base, and we'll take a deep dive into all of that maybe when Jacob jumps on here, so we can have a little bit of back and forth about that. But we were looking to bring in Duncan Maguire. He could have even been featuring today if everything had gone to plan, but unfortunately that deal hit the skids through an admin error. It could only say it as an admin error, but it's the second big time transfer within a January transfer window that an admin error has cost us what could be a season defining loan. Last season, we could have been that season-defining loan was Lewis O'Brien. Could have been a player that got us into the playoffs. It could have made that 1 point difference. Of course, it probably even pushed us maybe into a potential 5th spot within that playoff spots. But that's, of course, something from we can't change that, and we can't change this one either. Duncan Maguire could have been the man to score the goals today to help us drag us up the season. And who knows, if that a deal gone through, we might not be looking at a new manager here. Maybe the morale would be different from the last week. I think last week a lot of the performance was garbage. But of course, an influence of the fans can be so huge for the performance on the pitch. Now, if we were happy as Larry, like a pig in poop last week, then of course I think that could have rolled into the performance and been a bit of a catalyst to help us get the points against QPR. But the toxicity was already there. The rumors were already there. The question marks were already, and that seeped into the team. And guess what? We were garbage against the QPR side that we usually take something, if not all 3 points, whenever they come to Ewood Park, of course. So that has just and snowballed into this week, resulting in Yondal Thomason's departure. There was also a meeting, should we say, of key personnel, players, execs, fans this past week to talk about the scenario that is Ewood Park right now. I think what's the word? Damage limitation, I think is the words I'm looking for from the exec, from the boardroom, trying to stem the fear, stem the panic, or stem the heat that the boards and the execs are getting right now, because there are heads that still need to roll from this shit show administrative disaster class that has been Blackburn Rovers. This past week has been if there's ever a way not to run a club, it's been us. And of course, to talk about that, we bring in the ledge that is Jacob Ward here. Of course, how are you doing? How are you doing personally, first and foremost, before we get into our blue white halves? We're wearing the same clothes, nearly.
Not too bad, yeah. I'm quite happy. I'm quite relieved, to be honest, that John Dawes' time is up. I suppose it's definitely bittersweet. I think he should have been the man to finally get us playoffs. I think he could well have been the man to have got us promotion, but obviously, it seems like almost kind of deja vu with when Lambert joined. Was kind of sold a dream, given certain promises, and unfortunately, the Venkies just haven't kept their end of the bargain. Obviously, some of that kind of out of their control, I suppose, with the government sanctions potentially. But yeah, it's sad to see him come to an end. But also, I think he was a bit too stubborn. I must admit, I think you have to play to some of your parts. I said on the podcast a month or so ago now we were trying to play champagne football on an orange juice budget, and it was just not working, was it? Unfortunately, the past couple of months. So it's with a heavy heart, but I am happy to see John Eustace come in, and I do think rather that we should start to see an upturn in form. I would like to think by the end of the season we will no longer be the worst defence in the league.
Yeah, I think that's where he's got to start first, really fixing the back. Of course, stop the leaky defence. Of course, team news is in. We'll talk about that briefly. I'll just run it through just in case you missed it. Pears is in. Of course, remains number one. We got Cameron Britton at the back. Hyam McFadzean gets his first start. Christine as well at left side. Hedges as returns, which is crazy. Tronstadt, Ranky Costello, Smodic, Dolan, and Gallagher. Very much more experienced, of course, but. How much influence is JDT's involvement pre-week in this team, or do you think maybe already Eustace has had a say to play, or forget all about that? Maybe it's Damien Johnson having a right old crack at it in his one and only go in the dugout.
I think this team's going to be Damien Johnson's today, to be honest. I would assume that John Dell was probably gone before that crisis meeting that took place on Tuesday. Unfortunately, our invites must have got lost in the post, Dirk. Yeah, I mean, for the John Dell news to come out and then half an hour later for it to be filled from the official club obviously message that John Dell had gone on mutual consent, and then for half an hour later for Eustace to be announced, he must have been gone. I would have thought Sunday, Monday, and then obviously the crisis meeting has took place. It would only make sense for obviously, I assume they would have interviewed a couple candidates. I'd be shocked if they just interviewed Eustace and given the job then and there. For all that to be done, and then how we are with paperwork and just getting all that through. I assume he must have gone, especially after the comments following last weekend's game. So I think this is Damien Johnson's team today. I hope we see gone with the style of football that just clearly wasn't working. I hope we're a bit more tight and compact today. I hope we try and maybe go on the counter a little bit. How much of the ball Stoke will have, I guess we'll see. I mean, we are at home, so I would still think we'd probably have most of the ball, but I just want to see something fresh today. I'm actually excited to go watch a Rovers game rather than thinking we're just going to do the same things that we always do and just get nowhere with it. The definition of insanity, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Today will be interesting, and then I don't want to go too ahead of ourselves, but Tuesday will also be just as interesting as Eustace makes his official debut as manager against his old club, against Tony Mowbray. There's so much involved in that game. But today we do see the return to Ewood Park of Niall Ennis. He does start for Stoke. Worried? Are you worried?
I would say no, but then also it's Niall Ennis who didn't do a whole lot for us. To be frank, I suppose. Coming back to Ewood's a couple of weeks later, and it just almost seems scripted that he'll score today and he'll celebrate in front of the Blackburn end. So if he had no association with us and he was playing the way he has done this season, I wouldn't be remotely worried about him. But it just seems like it's written to happen. But yeah, I think Tuesday game is going to be really interesting. Obviously, former Rovers, former Birmingham coach going head to head. But equally as interesting will be Saturday. See how we get on against those lot down the road. I'm tempted to potentially go now. There was not a cat and hell's chance I were going to Dumpdale after the kind of run of form we've been in, and we never get anything there anyway. So to have seen us go there under John Darla just was not happening. But if we do well today, I think there's a chance I may go there and I may get a vlog for you, Dirk.
All right, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, and that's the thing. When I looked back at JDT's record, of course, we had some really good moments, some real shitty moments, of course, and but the derbies were one thing that really stood out. That we sucked really bad in all of them. The Burnley ones, the Preston ones. It was pretty dire. So I'm hoping we might get something a little bit different with Eustace, even though it might not be champagne football. It might be a bit of more of a grind, but hopefully we can be on the right side of the match, especially in these derbies coming up. And of course, maybe even next year with the return of the other lot who hopefully will be relegated from the Prem. So hopefully it's someone else with a bit more passion, a bit more oomph on the touchline. Let's, of course, turn back to today's game. There are a few names that stand out for me. And I'm interested to see today. McFadzean starts today. We got the return of Hedges, of course, and Smodic is, of course, in the team. A lot of people were thinking that he wasn't going to be involved. And Gallagher's on a bit of form right now. I think it's 2-2 for him. Who out of that lot are you eager to see? Also, Fleck on the bench might get to see a bit of a Scottish Pirlo from yesterday. He's a little old, but he's still got a bit of magic in those legs. But who out of all that are you excited to see today?
I'd say definitely Hedges. It's been so long, hasn't it, since he got injured, and it's kind of like a new signing, really. And he was doing well before that injury as well. Real shame. I mean, obviously the Watford goal has to be up there for goal of the season for the entire championship, surely. What an absolute belter that was. But yeah, I'd love to see Fleck come off the bench. He's barely played any football this season, 80, 90 minutes. So maybe a little cameo, maybe 10 minutes at the end or so if we're kind of looking to secure a lead, hopefully. I won't mind that too much. But yeah, I'm hoping McFadzean in particular just comes in and we see an impact today. Obviously they've got that partnership there from their time at Coventry. So you're hoping they just haven't, kind of lost that, I suppose. We need something desperately, don't we? And from when he signed, Coventry fans were saying, you'll get the best out of him in a back three, in a back four. He might get exposed a bit with his lack of pace, but I'm just hoping set pieces. We've been so vulnerable this season just due to having a young and pretty small squad. I'm hoping we actually see a bit of presence there from him, and I think Scott Wharton can maybe feel a bit hard done by to be dropped. I don't think he's been too bad recently by his standards, but yeah, I mean the defense just hasn't been good enough, so we kind of had to see something different, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Well, Scotty Ward has not dropped. He's out through illness, so he I think maybe this choice was forced. Other than that, but if I'm going to have to push you for a score prediction today in this one against Stoke, what do you think? What is your hope for this match? Do you think we can get back on the winning train, or do you think it's going to be more even, Stephen, or maybe even more of the same of recent times?
I think we're going to see a reaction today. I'd be shocked if we didn't. I really would be shocked if we didn't. I think it must have been so demoralising for the players to constantly just be going out there doing the same things that they just knew just wasn't working, to be frank, and just not seeing any kind of innovation from JDT. The constant kind of doing down of them and saying how we wanted new players in, that can't have done them much good either. I'd like to see there be a reaction today, definitely, and I'm going to go with 3-1. I still think we'll concede, unfortunately, but I'm hoping Smodic can maybe get a couple. Gallagher, maybe even Hedges get on the score sheet on his return. That'd be good. But these are way down there in the form chart. These are 21st, and we've just pissed away 3 really winnable games at home: Huddersfield, Rotherham, QPR. So we have to get 3 points today. I think it's plain and simple, really. We've got some tough games coming up after Birmingham.
Indeed. Well, including Birmingham, that's going to be tough on the road as well, and with all that's laced in that one. But I appreciate your time. Get down at Ewood, roar the boys on, and of course we'll catch up with you later. Hopefully tomorrow we can get a podcast together again and talk more about Eustace and the future for Rovers. But appreciate it, Jacob. Yeah. Take it easy. I am here, of course. Joining me is still, though, we're going around the globe now, and we're joined by the man, the legend. It's Pete. How are you doing, Pete? How's it been life like this past 10 days as a Rover across the pond, all the way distant from the chaos, but still intertwined in the mayhem?
Yes, intertwined indeed, Dirk. It's been quite the most tumultuous week for Rovers fans everywhere for possibly our club history at Blackburn. And it's been a whirlwind of a week. Highs, lows, mainly lows, and you do think about it and just how this has transpired, where we've gone, and just the whole Maguire debacle, and it's just come to the repeat. I can't even fathom. I'm still gathering my thoughts on the week because it is such a travesty that has unfolded before us, and I think, between Wag It Out is the mainstay here from Philly Rovers here. Wag It Out is our tagline today. We are glad that Greg is still on the scene there, but I am hoping that John Eustace will get the train back on the tracks there today and then take us into Tuesday's game. But yes, it has been quite a show this week, a classic one for Rovers, and I don't know where we can go with this. It's just, I hope with the win today, we can just put something in our sails there to get us moving and get us back on a positive form. But yes, embarrassingly so, but it's bigger than an embarrassment here for Rovers. It has long implications that will reverberate throughout the club for possibly a long time to come. I mean, this is 2 years in a row now that this has happened, 3 times. And, you wonder what's just like, where's the press conference? Have a press conference, come out, take your lashings, and then resign. You've had your chance. It hasn't panned out. You're their lackey. We know what's going on, but this is just, and then the crisis meeting on Thursday, it's just all a show, and we're not here for it. We can see through it, and you need to take responsibility. You need to be culpable. You need to take, ownership, and also just admit defeat, wrong, and say that, listen, we messed up, and you do have to come out, and we're showing such cowardice at this moment here now by not holding that press conference, and I just, that's, maybe we're going to do it in this next coming week, but we got a big game today. The focus is on today. And then it's another game on Tuesday. So when are they going to do that? And then just cause more controversy? Come out and do it. This, JDT out yesterday, and then John Eustace announced just another hour later. It's total chaos. But I'm glad that we did get Eustace in now, and I'm hoping he can take us into Tuesday and get us 3 points today. Let's see what we can do there, Dirk. I know you said there's a lot of new players coming in today, and Hedges is exciting to hear about. But yeah, it's been a tough one here for Philly Rovers. I've been kind of laying off the social scene, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it to Hilltown Tavern today. But we do have our guy there, Turtle. He's on the scene representing Philly Rovers, and because I wanted to make sure, new ownership or new management for Rovers, so there'll be new management at Hilltown Tavern today, repping and staying the course and staying by the club, through this tough time.
Yeah. Now, you touched on it earlier in your rant there, which was a good rant about Maguire. Now, how big a blow for you as an American to see a fantastic young American on the cusps of joining this fantastic British English club, And of course, now to see that pan fall to bits. Of course, I was, I'm based here in Georgia. Of course, not far. I could have went to see him in Orlando myself. Could have got in my car, hopped down there, and said sign on the dotted line or whatever. But for you to be so close to getting this young American prospect become a Rover, what's that making you feel right now?
Dirk, it's a mess. It's a total mess, and it's a total disappointment. And I'm disheartened, but I'm, more so. There's furor raging inside me. This season started with Brad Friedel at the helm. He appeared at Ewood, and he was making the transition there from the Kaminsky years into the Pears and Wallstat age that we now see at Ewood. And it was a big moment there at Ewood when he made his appearance there to kind of rally the troops behind the goalkeeping scenes. And, it was a proud moment for us Americans to remember the golden age of the American on the Blackburn scene. And he's what started the fandom here for Philly Rovers. So to see that hopefully, come to in the end of the transfer window last week, it was very exciting for sure. As, and throughout all America, I'm sure, Blackburn fans were united, but it was going to be a new age. It was going to be a new limelight for Rovers because, we saw it a lot last year with the Leeds Adelphia in the Philadelphia scene, but the Leeds of the United States type guys, the Americans were all over the Leeds sticks. So everybody became a Leeds fan. Now, if you don't want these new fans who are fickle and whatnot with America, whatever, but there's fans that have stayed the course here, like myself, after the Friedel, and have grown to love the Rovers through and throughout these years. But it's such a huge disappointment for us, and I'm sure it's more disappointing for Duncan. I mean, he was taking pictures, signing autographs last week. I'm disheartened and disenfranchised. It's just it's tough to think about. But yeah, and that's whole taking a plane over now to see if we can get a signing at the throughout this season to make a contract post season here. It's just, and then it's funny though, but the Lewis O'Brien thing, they both ended up back in the MLS after this. He went over and played for DC United and Wayne Rooney, and then Maguire's going back to Orlando City. MLS stepping up and standing by their guys there. They get a lot of slack for being one of these little itty bitty leagues, but they're doing right by their players too. So because they filled the gap there once they saw Maguire leaving the stage, they signed a striker and they were ready to go. So they're like, what's happening now? Now we've got two, and they're making out. But yeah, it's disappointing for Duncan himself. But yeah, for us here, I'm just disappointed there because it could have been more troops on the stage here.
Definitely,
and more support for Rovers for sure. So.
Well, I don't know. It is a bit of a laugh. We are a laughing stock, and I still have hope. And I know people are. I don't want to say it, but I do hope that they somehow, sweeten the deal and get him over the line for next year. Whether whatever crisis we are in, but it's going to be a harder sell now. I think for him to do that. But hopefully they treated him right while he was there, and maybe they can explain what we can't see behind the scenes. But anyway, Pete, pushing you for a prediction here. We've got Millie standing by. She's eager to get on the case here. What is your scoreline for today in a big game against Stoke, who are also struggling like us?
Yes, yes, Dirk, definitely big game today. John Huston's debut. I'm going to go 2-1 victory to the Blackburn Rovers today with the managerial bounce today. I'm praying, and I'm not a praying man there, but yes, I'm hoping we get the train back on the tracks. I'm hoping we get the 3 points. I'm hoping to see a galley brace. Yes, maybe Smonich, but I think Sam Gallagher there, he was in that meeting. He was flexing his muscles, and I think he's going to want to step up and bring the leadership into the squad today and do something with it. 2 goals for Sam Galley. 2-1 over the Potters today at Ewood. Let's do it, Dirk. Come on, bring it home. Pete with Philly Rovers here, Dirk. I'll see you next time. Good luck in the studio, brother.
I appreciate that. Have a good day. Appreciate you giving up a bit of your Saturday morning, and hopefully we're all smiling at the end of it. Pete is out. In comes Millie. Chaos. What's going on, Millie? How you doing?
I'm all right. Thanks to you.
I'm all right. I feel better now that we have some sort of resolution from all this chaos on the pitch, anyway. But still, a lot of chaos going on behind the scenes. What is your thoughts and opinion about everything that's been going on this past 10 days?
Well, obviously, I can't really say too much because, the group chat. But with everything what's been on Twitter, X, I've got to say that, first of all, the guy who's managed to leak the CCTV that's now got over, I think it's 50,000 views on Twitter, X, I think he's been sacked, because I'm pretty sure that there's audio on that video as well, which is extremely not allowed. Coming from someone who used to work in that stadium, and I full well that you're not allowed to do shit like that.
I've got a comment straight away from the people. James Hickman says, "I love her accent." Look at that! You got a fan straight off the money right there.
Like an accent, that's why.
There you go. She's got the real deal. So let's focus about on the pitch today. Stoke, they're struggling. Rovers struggling. John Eustace is in, but he's not in technically. I know Pete thinks he's taking over the reins right now, but he's in attendance. But he will officially take over Tuesday. What are your hopes for today on the pitch for Rovers?
Well, I mean, hopefully they've got some sort of different sort of form. We can't slag off JDT really because we all know that Venky's haven't really been doing what they should have been doing as owners. I've got to keep it to a professional point of view, not a fan's point of view. But we all know that Venky should have given him a bit more money, and us in the group chat know the ins and outs of that. But what I'm saying about John Eustace, he is, I don't know if you've seen it, like you said, he is actually at Ewood. I believe he's going to be sitting in, I think it's called the Private Directors Lounge, away from fans that are in the other lounges. I believe he's going to be sitting in that and watching the game somehow, I don't know. But obviously he has not took charge of today's game. We've got Damian Johnson and who is it? Some guy who's got the last name more.
David Lowe.
Don't know.
Yeah, David Lowe.
Yeah, David Lowe, that's his name. Yeah, so we've got them. Obviously Damian Johnson, he's got some sort of experience, but with I think it was under 23s he had. So I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's ever took charge of the actual first team, as in the actual first team that fans actually come to watch week in, week out. And with everything what's happened, obviously we have lost a bit of our fan base. We don't really have much of a fan base at Ewood, but that's a conversation for another day. We have lost a bit of the fan base, but I'm hoping that with everything what's been said and done at that ground, that everything now takes off on a high.
Well, let's hope so. From my point of view, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions, of course, from, with JDT leaving, that's one thing, but still a lot of the mess still is there. And again, we won't want to talk about that too much right now. But of course, Stoke struggling, Rovers struggling. From your point of view, are we going to get a win today?
I don't know, because we're 18th, Stoke 20th, unless things have changed overnight since I wrote that article. But obviously, like you said, Stoke are struggling at the minute. I believe it is financially. I think it's more that they're running out of money rather than getting no funds type thing. Because I had a quick look on the Facebook, and by the looks of it, I didn't click on the article, I just had a quick glimpse. But by the looks of it, it looks like they are having to shut the club shop, which obviously generates probably the most money that club's going to get. And they're having a massive sale on the home shirts, away shirts, and basically everything that's in that shop. So obviously, it sounds to me like they are running out of money. Rovers, obviously, we all know the financial situation with Venky's at the minute isn't that good. But I am hoping, fingers crossed, that Rovers actually manage to get 3 points because it's needed.
It is needed. It would definitely be a big bounce for the personnel and the attending fans. And of course, there is a lot of question marks about the future of Rovers and all that. But hopefully the sale of Adam Wharton will at least keep the lights on for a little bit. And I don't want to drag all that into the mix right now because I think it's going to be a big summer for Rovers. That cash coming in. Hopefully something happens in India with regards to Benke's. They might be able to get back into putting money into the club. But any goal scorers? Any hopes for any goal scorers? We got Hedges back. Gallagher's on form a little bit. Smodic scoring goals, but a little bit rusty of late. Who's going to be the guy to score the goals today?
So we've got all them lot that usually, like Sam Smodic, for example, he obviously is near enough on the score sheet every time we play at home. Away is a different story, but I won't go into that. But I think that with it being Damien Johnson, who, like I said, graduate from the academy, used to coach under 21s or under 23s, one of them. I think he will try, the new lad from Liverpool. I think he'll end up trying him. And possibly a couple of the other ones if they're up for match fitness. That how old is he? 33, 35. One of them.
There's the old guy at the back, McFadden. I think he's 36. He might actually just have turned 37 this past week. And then there's Mr. Fleck, John Fleck in the midfield, which I'm excited to see. He's 33, 34, something like that. But there's some older pros mixed with some young guns. But it looks like Smodic could be the danger man again. But any closing comments, Millie, before we wrap up this?
No, not really. I just want to put it out to fans that you can't realistically believe everything what you see unless it's from a credible source coming from someone who does sports journalism at university, because the amount of Twitter posts that I have seen, ex-posts, that I have seen that have said stuff that have absolutely no truth to it at all, but then fans are believing it. You just can't believe what you see nowadays. So you do all need to not believe everything that you see.
Mellie's telling you off right there, folks. Don't believe all you see. You got to back up your rumours with a source. None of this in the know nonsense. And stop leaking stuff out to the people or else you get in trouble. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Millie, thanks. Are you going to the game or just taking it easy at home? Do they need to win you back? Do Rovers need to win you back?
Well, last game that I went to, it was Wrexham game. So I went to that, and that was the first game that I've gone to since I left Ewood as a worker. I still do voluntary work, but that's at the community trust. That's something else completely different. But I'm hoping that next time I go, I'll get a nice welcome, I guess. Because, I've had a couple of them in the stands come up to me saying, "Oh, I know you used to work on wherever it is." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I know."
Well, it looked like, I guess if the last game was Wrexham, it looks like you're a lucky penny. So we've got to get you back in the ground to cheer the guys on. But have a good Saturday. Appreciate your input. And again, don't believe what you see until you got a credible source. We're putting that out there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Take it easy, Millie. I'll speak to you soon. That's it, guys. We are at time, a little bit over time, but it's okay. We're going to be right here back for the game in about 20 minutes or so. I've got to take the dog out, get a coffee, maybe go for a quick poo. Who knows? But anyway, I'll see you all soon. It's crazy out there. And of course, we need this win. Niall Ellis, hopefully you've got your Rovers shooting boots on, which were shit. I'll see you all later. Ciao. Ciao.